much. So I think huge compliments to all.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot. And it all happens because of supportive people like you also. And though it is not a formal thanks, but are very grateful to you that you accepted the invitation and wanted to
Thank
be
you.
here as such. Thank you very much, sir. We'll just start in a short while.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. Good morning, sir. Uh, I think principal sir is also there.
Yeah, he's there.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning,
Good
Puri
morning,
Saab.
sir.
Hello, good
Morning,
morning.
sir.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you.
Sir, we'll be just starting in a short while.
Yeah. So, director will be joining shortly.
Can we mute everybody like the other people? Everybody should be muted.
Anusha, you are requested to rename yourself. And Asvika, you too. Okay. So, ma'am, is everyone here and are we good to go?
Pragya, let me check out. I think we don't have this. Vinny ma'am, I cannot see.
Bansal sir.
Actually,
Hello. Benny ma'am, she is like her father is little critical. So she is rushing to the hospital. So we need not to wait for her.
okay, sir. Okay,
Yeah,
sir.
so
Dr. Pandey is there, sir. Good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Pandey sir. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm
Good
here.
morning, everyone.
Good morning, Mr. Manjit Puri. I'm Ashok Pandey here. Nice to meet you, sir. Yeah, please carry on. Yeah.
Good morning, sir. Good morning,
sir.
Ashok sir. Good morning, Deepak sir.
Good
Good
morning,
morning,
everybody.
everyone.
Pragya, let's start.
Okay, sir.
Just a second. Pragya, please allow screen sharing.
Priyanshi?
Yes, we are good to go now. Bansal sir here. Should we wait for him?
I think we can start. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Jigya, Priyanshi, Isha, we can start.
As we look ahead into the next century, leaders will be those who empower others, said Bill Gates. I, Priyanshi Bisht, along with my co-host Isha Jamwal, heartily welcome you all. Model United Nations is an educational simulation of the United Nations where participants represent the delegates of various nations across the world. It helps an individual in developing their leadership qualities, public speaking skills, and teamwork. This activity not only brings out a budding and a talented speaker, but also sensitizes the students about the current happening around the world and helps them being a global citizen rather than only a national citizen. We at Ahlcon try to impart holistic education amongst the students to ensure that they develop quest for knowledge, broad range of multifarious skills, and an open-minded outlook to confront and adapt to the ever-changing dynamic society. We all look forward to your enthusiastic participation in this maiden edition of Ahlcon Youth MUN. Now let us together invoke the blessing of Lord Ganesha.
गणपति जगबंदन गाये गणपति जगबंदन गाये गणपति जगबंदन शंकर सुवन भवानी नंदन शंकर सुवन भवानी नंदन सिद्धि सदन गज बदन विनायक सिद्धि सदन गजवदन विनायक कृपा सिंधु सुंदर सब नायक कृपा सिंधु सुंदर सब नायक गाये गणपति जगवंदन गाये गणपति जगवंदन.
After this lovely invocation of blessing of Lord Ganesha, I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to all our honorable guests, chief guests, and the executive board. Over to you, Isha.
It is indeed a matter of pride for us to have Ambassador Manjeev Singh Puri with us. I also cordially welcome the Honorable President of Ahlcon Schools, Shri Vikramjit Ahluwalia, Chairman Ahlcon Public Schools, Shri Vikas Ahluwalia, Director Dr. Ashok Kumar Pandey, Principal Ahlcon International School, Mr. Sanjay Yadav, Principal Ahlcon Public School, Dr. Deepak Raj Singh Best, Manager Mr. P.K. Bhatnagar, Vice Principal Ahlcon Public School, Ms. Veni Bhardwaj. I also welcome the respected headmasters, headmistresses, the administrative officers, and teachers. Now I take the opportunity to introduce the chief guest of our day, Ambassador Manjeev Singh Puri. Ambassador Manjeev Singh Puri joined the Indian Foreign Service in 1982 and has served as Ambassador of India to the European Union, Belgium, Luxembourg, and Nepal. Earlier, he had served as Ambassador, Deputy Permanent Representative of India to the UN during the time that India was on the Security Council. He retired on the 31st of December 2019 in the rank of Secretary, Government of India. Mr. Puri has also headed the division in the Ministry of External Affairs with dealing with the UN issues on the social and economic side and been involved as a lead member of the Indian delegation at numerous global negotiations and climate change, sustainable development, migration, human rights, and UN reforms. He has also served on the Sikh heritage of Nepal and has been instrumental in bringing out a publication on the subject and adding to the story of the Sikh diaspora and its forgotten elements. He is a distinguished fellow of the India's prestigious energy and environment organization, TERI. We welcome you, sir. I request you to enlighten the delegates with your motivating words.
Thank you, Isha. You want me to speak now and tell me how much time do I roughly have?
So you can take your time.
Okay, thank you. Ahlcon School, I want to thank you very much for inviting me. I, of course, want to thank Pragya, who reached out to me. I want to thank Rajesh, who spoke to me. But Principal Saab, Director Saab, very nice to see you all. And above all, I'm delighted to see the participants. Now, I want to just take a minute to tell you that although my job had been officially with the United Nations representing India for nearly a decade, my greatest and most wonderful experiences have been in interacting with young people doing Model UN conferences. And let me tell you, I didn't know much about Model UN till I got into this business. But once I got there, I discovered to my real pleasant surprise that if I wish the real UN was the Model UN. Because at the Model UN, you let go yourself, you put yourself into the countries that you represent, and you try to be a force for good. In real life, we actually play for ourselves. Countries work for their own advantage, and there is a great deal of horse trading. There's a great deal of diplomacy, which really means that global power play remains in play. So I really want you to remain very sharp on the fact of being a force for good. And that's what I particularly enjoy, and I like the idea that you have all got together for this. Now, I want to compliment your school for having organized this Model UN competition at a very opportune time. Look at what is happening. India got elected to the UN Security Council, and we will be serving on it for the 8th time. We begin our 2-year term starting on the 1st of January 2021. You know, the last time we served on the Security Council, and you just mentioned my CV, was exactly 10 years back. And literally 10 years to the day today, the Arab Spring unfolded. Let me tell you, naturally, we were caught off guard. The whole world was caught off guard. But the actions that we undertook then are actions that continue to, in some senses, inspire, in some senses, bedevil, but in any way influence the world. India will serve on the Security Council for 2 years. As you know, this is a particularly difficult time. Never in recent memory and recent history has the world seen a lockdown. Has the world seen a pandemic which has reached to every single country in the world, where mortality rates, infection rates are among the highest that you've seen anywhere, and a time which really calls for the world to come together. Yet, what are we seeing? We are seeing any number of people getting up and throwing stones at multilateralism, pointing fingers at the United Nations. But frankly speaking, if you introspect, will you not come to the conclusion that you can't go at it alone? You won't be able to do it, and neither will just a coalition of the willing. You want everyone to act, and you want everyone to act in a manner that there is ownership of the action. And hence the importance of the Security Council, the importance of the United Nations, and more than that, the importance of multilateralism. India also has several other, fortunate auguries taking place at the same time. We are a member of the G20, and in the year 2023, we will host the G20 summit in India and chair the G20. That's the premier economic body of the world. We will also hold the BRICS summit. So we are particularly well positioned in the world, and the world is increasingly recognizing India's relevance and the fact that India is a force for good. Look what we've done during the COVID pandemic. Despite the fact that we had every apprehension and fear of being hugely struck by this massive pandemic and the economic cost that we've had to incur, we've been in the forefront of the world in supplying personal protective equipment and supplying drugs as the medical fraternity established, which could be of some use to people. And now, as the vaccines become available, we are going to become the vaccine manufacturer to the world. So India is a country which has always contributed. We did a lot for UN peacekeeping, bringing peace and stability across the continent of Africa and in large parts of the world where conflict raged. We have done a lot in terms of better life for the human beings, in terms of lifting millions of people out of poverty. We are doing more than our fair share on climate change, becoming one of the global leaders in renewable energy and in the use of solar energy. We are truly a country which believes in this dictum of Vasudhaiva Kutumbam. We are one family, and we are very strongly wedded to this particular concept. I'm therefore very happy that the school has decided to focus on this. I believe that it will focus your students on two things. One, give them a kind of awareness of what the world is about. What are the global issues that challenge us today? What are the issues that challenged us at least yesterday? What are the positions that different countries take? How do they project self-interest, and how they bring themselves to the fore of protecting themselves at the same time trying to ensure that we have a better world for ourselves? Secondly, it will sharpen the skill sets of all your students. You know, we live in a world where collaboration is of paramount importance, where you need to have your perspective, but you need to be able to understand the other's perspective and get the other around to your perspective, or at least find a via media. That is particularly important because you can't simply brush away others' viewpoints. And this would give you the necessary skill sets to be able to assimilate. And I am therefore particularly proud you called me, you did me signal honor. I am very happy to be here. I want to wish the Ahlcon School and the entire school community run by the Ahlcon Foundation. I want to wish you all the very best in what you are attempting, and anything ever that I would maybe in a position to do and contribute, I shall very be happy to do so. Principal Saab, Director Saab, Puja, to all of you, all part your elbows, and may you be a force for good in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ambassador Puri, for your very kind words.
Thank you, sir, for your encouraging and inspirational words. Over to you, Jigya.
Ahlcon Public School has always strived at creating leaders amidst young minds. Since years, Ahlcon is enlightening students by its education as well as by its fest like Silico Battles, E-Combat, and Innovation. With the motto, Light to Enlighten, Ahlcon is proud to put forward the maiden edition of Ahlcon Youth MUN. We present to you a short video giving an overview of the first Ahlcon Youth MUN prepared by our IT team.
Come touch me like I'm an ordinary man. Have a look in my eyes. Underneath my skin there is a violence. It's got a gun in its hands. Ready to make sense of anyone, anything, anyone, anything, anyone, anything, anyone, anything, anyone, anything. Black holes living in the side of your face. Razor wire spinning around your 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 bullets of the beauty of the blistering sky. Bullets of the beauty and I don't know why. Bullets of the beauty of the blistering sky. Bullets of the beauty and I don't know why. Personal responsibility. Personal responsibility.
14 people are dead, 4 others suffered serious injuries. Police have a suspect.
Personal responsibility. Personal responsibility. Personal responsibility. Personal responsibility.
The Ahlcon Youth MUN. The participation of students from different institutions of Delhi to unleash their talents. It cultivates an atmosphere where we also learn to contribute for the welfare of the society. The students are going to cram with one of the most experienced EB of the circuit, whom the delegates are surely going to adore. This edition of Ahlcon Youth MUN comprises of 5 different committees, namely
All India Political Party Meet, moderated by Mr. Mayank Singhal. He is an advocate who completed his law from VIPS Indraprastha University. Currently, he is pursuing LLM from University School of Law and Legal Studies, Indraprastha University. He believes that MUNs and youth parliaments are a medium to learn the practical realities of the world. Mr. Anirudh Bali and Mr. Shloka Roy will serve as the deputy moderators.
United Nations Commission on Status of Women. Ms. Anya Vig will serve as the chairperson of this committee. She is pursuing a history major from Lady Shri Ram College and is the founder of Girl Uprise LSR. This committee is vice chaired by Ms. Ridhima Singh and the rapporteur for the same is Ms. Jyotika Tomar.
United Nations Human Rights Council, chaired by Mr. Pratham Sharma, who is currently pursuing BA LLB from Vivekanand Institute of Professional Studies in Delhi. He is currently working with a research startup in internationalism and has previously worked in the field of arbitration. He has a keen interest in interlaw, international law, politics, diplomacy, in addition to Indian politics. Ms. Zahina will be the vice chairing this committee with Mr. Manish Sharma as the rapporteur.
United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, chaired by Mr. Dhruv Jain. He is a fresh graduate from Delhi Technological University and has just completed his bachelor's in technology majoring in the electrical domain. Deliberations via platforms such as Model UN simulations have always been close to his heart. Ms. Ishan Jain will serve as the co-chairperson and Mr. Abhinav Raj will serve as the rapporteur for this committee.
Last but not the least, the international press. Ms. Khushi Arora will serve as the editor-in-chief. She is an English honours student at Delhi University and has been a part of the MUN circuit since the last 3 years.
Thank you, Isha and Jigya, for providing information about the 5 committees. Now, may I request Honorable Director Dr. Ashok Kumar Pandey to address the virtual gathering.
Thank you, Jigya. Respected Ambassador Puri, Principals Dr. Deepak, Mr. Sanjay, Vice Principal Mrs. Bharadwaj, HMs, my dear colleagues, the organizing committee of the first Ahlcon Public Schools MUN, executive boards, secretariat, committee members, delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I'm absolutely delighted to be a part of this. I think the best thing that has happened is that Ambassador Puri has graced the occasion. In my opinion, he is the most credible and most authentic voice to address all of us on an occasion like this. He has given us a lot of insight into how UN functions, how India has contributed to the several multilateral agencies. He has also given you a way forward, and he has also, in his own nice way, given you a roadmap, a kind of aspiration and a kind of expectations that we all have from the youth leaders like you. Let me take this opportunity to say something with whatever little experience that I have. Your MUN, I think one of your speakers mentioned it, and I was very happy. You're going to serve 2 or 3 purposes. Number one, you're developing your own leadership, your communication skills, networking, and coming together to increase your tribe, where youth like you come together, raise your voice, take action, contribute to policy making, and take this whole movement forward. So that will be one training platform for you. The second, of course, is that at this young age, you must know what UN is, what does it stand for, and what all needs to be done to strengthen it further. And the third thing, of course, how India is such an important component and partner to the United Nations. Ambassador Puri has already told you a lot. The committees that you have, let me tell you, the UNODC, some of you would know, during the entire lockdown period, all of us have partnered with UNODC through our Lockdown Learners series. And you'll be very happy to know that the United Nations had just come out with a booklet listing all the innovative things that have been done across the world. And Learners Lockdown series, which we did in partnership with UNODC, has found a mention. And just to tell you, that is the only innovation from India which has been included in those 20 or 25 innovations. So that is one thing I thought all of you must know. It is a very recent news, and maybe you may not have got it. So that is one thing. I'm very happy that you have included discussions on status of women, which is so important. You have included one committee on All India Party, which is very exciting committee, as I have seen in the past. And I'm sure you are going to come out with a lot of recommendations and resolutions. And of course, international press is one of my favorite, and I'm sure many new budding journalists, reporters will come out of it. The second thing I want to just reiterate, or maybe repeat with Ambassador Puri's permission, that India has been a founding member of the United Nations. India has contributed a great deal. India has sacrificed a lot, let me tell you, particularly through the peacekeeping forces. And as far as I have read and understood and learned, Indian peacekeeping forces are favorite of most of the zones in the world which are in the conflict situation today. They would not accept any other peacekeeper than India. I'm also reminded, just to motivate you as an Indian, it gives me motivation that long time back in 1976, there was one Brigadier Prem Chand. Later he retired as Lieutenant General Prem Chand. And he was the force commander in Namibia. And Namibia was in turmoil at that time. And he did a great job. And at that time, UN Under Secretary General, Mr. Brian Ukart, he wrote a poem in his honor, and which has been published in the Annals of United Nations. Let me read that to you, and that will give you an idea as to what an Indian is and what Indians have done as peacekeepers. In these sad times, Prem showed just why we all have praised him sky high. Courageous, wise, and serene and good. Night and day, he did all he could. You know, that was the tribute to the force commander, then Brigadier Prem Chand. Of course, he retired as Lieutenant General. You know, so that is the kind of reputation that Indians have earned within the forum of United Nations. So as young leaders, I'm sure you are going to be, some of you will become Ambassador Puri one day. You will represent India at the United Nations. You will take part. You must have heard all contributions that India is making, whether it is supplying of food. Ambassador Puri was talking about medicine. So that is what the United Nation is not an entity which is away from any country. It is an entity which is made of all the countries. So all the countries are component to the United Nations. And that is why when somebody says that United Nations is not doing anything, I laugh that then in effect you are saying that I'm not doing anything, because you are very much part of the United Nations. So my congratulations to all of you. The COVID reference was made by Ambassador Puri, and that is so relevant. And if one thing COVID has done, of course, the collaboration in innovation, but unfortunately, COVID has also further exposed the inequalities, the gap between the rich and the poor. You know, so we have lifted many crores of people out of poverty, but many people have been pushed into poverty and lack of resources during this COVID. So that is another challenge. And therefore, to achieve these sustainable developmental goals, for which just about a decade is left, I think our efforts have to accelerate. We have to work with greater resolve, and who better can be the driving force than the youth of today. So I'm very happy. Congratulations to Principal Dr. Deepak, your team of very worthy teachers, and these young leaders who I see on the screen, and the entire community who has supported in making this maiden MUN a success. They all deserve my gratitude and my congratulations to all of them. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your motivating words. Now, I would request respected Principal, Sir Dr. Deepak Raj Singh Bish to address the forum.
Thank you, Priyanshi. A very good morning to all. Honorable Chief Guest, Ambassador Puri, Director, Ahlcon Group of Schools, Dr. Pandey, Ahlcon School Principal, Ahlcon International School, Sri Sanjay Yadav, Manager, Sri Bhatnagar, HMs from both the schools, Administrative Officer, members of Organizing Committee, faculty members, and dear delegates. Thank you all for sparing your time to be here with us and for gracing the occasion. The Ahlcon Youth MUN is an initiative of our students who have worked very hard to ensure an excellent conference for all delegates. And I'm confident that you will all have a rewarding experience during these 2 days. And I compliment the entire organizing team for their vision, dedication, and hard work. As a lot being said by our director and our chief guest, Dr. Puri, the underlying philosophy of Ahlcon MUN is to recognize the importance of United Nations in the international system, to help participants gain a proper perspective of global affairs, and to develop debating and negotiating skills in them. This innovative experience of learning not only familiarizes the participants with the structural and operational aspects of the United Nations, but also acquaints you with the pressing global issues faced by the world community. At its core, this conference is not just about model United Nations, but about the immense capacity of youth. More specifically, it is a clear demonstration of the transformative power of the APS students. Dear delegates, your deliberations undoubtedly help you face the manifold challenges of life. Your ability to convert every challenge into opportunity will decide your own future and the future of the world. In order to move to a future with peace, justice, and prosperity, talented and thoughtful people must engage in crafting a better world and brighter future. And I'm happy to see the youth taking an initiative and actively participating. I wish all the delegates an enriching experience. Thank you everyone for your gracious presence. We are honored to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. Now, we'd like to make an announcement. All the delegates are requested to rename themselves with the allotted portfolio and committee names. Also, the delegates are requested to join the meeting through their respective committee links just after the opening ceremony.
Now, I invite Krish Vella, President of Ahlcon Youth MUN 2020, to address the participants.
Thank you, Jigya. So, good morning, everyone. I've been preparing for this speech for past 6 months, and finally, today is the day when I'm here giving this speech in front of all the esteemed guests present here. Deepak sir, Ashok sir, Manjeet sir, and everyone who spared their invaluable time for this event, which is kind of a dream for us, for our team. Like me, Pragya, Ananya, we have been planning for this event since August, but today is finally the day when our dream came true, and we are here to host everyone present here. So I've been this circuit for past 4 years, and Model UN are quite close to my heart. Model UN is not just about politics, but it also improves your speaking, reading, listening, as well as social skills. And the most important thing is Model UN are so fun. And hence, it was my dream to do something for our school and organize this Ahlcon Youth Union. But this journey was not at all easy. From being a mere delegate to the president of Ahlcon Youth MUN, it's been a hell of a ride for me. Those Zoom fights, those everyday calls, those OC meets, like I'm already missing them. And I would like to thank my whole secretariat to make this thing happen, especially Ananya and Pragya for supporting me since the beginning now and I hope till the end. I would also like to acknowledge our advisors, Mr. Anirudh Bali and Shloka Roy, for advising and guiding us throughout this journey. I still remember in my first MUN also, Anirudh Bhaiya and Shloka Bhaiya helped me with the ROTs and research work. And this time also, they helped us throughout the conference. I'm being very honest, and I don't even think that if 3 years ago, our seniors didn't took the initiative of organizing the intra-MUN of our school, all of us wouldn't be even here. And there wouldn't be any Ahlcon Youth MUN. And a special thank to Rajesh sir, who provided us what we wanted the most in first place, which is his trust. He was the one who trusted us with this idea. He didn't say something like, you don't have a team, how are you going to prepare? he was the one who trusted us and said that if you can pull this off, you should pull this off. And in the words of Mr. Abraham Lincoln, the people, when rightly and fully trusted, will return the trust. So I hope that, sir, we didn't let you down. And I also hope that every delegate who trusted us with their time will get the best experience from a highly experienced executive board. Even if you are not going to win any award, you are surely going to get a great experience. So, finger crossed, hope that everything goes fine and delegates have a fruitful debate. Thank you.
Thank you, Krish. Now I invite Pragya Joshi, Secretary General, to address the gathering and declare the conference open.
Thank you so much, Ikya. Okay, so am I audible? Can someone?
Yes, very much.
Thank you, sir. So, greetings, dear delegates, our esteemed guest, Ambassador Puri, respected Director Dr. Ashok Kumar Pandey, Principal Dr. Deepak Raj Singh Bisht, respected teachers, and all the distinguished guests. It's a matter of great esteem for me to serve as the co-founder as well as the Secretary General of this very first edition of Ahlcon Youth Himalayan. It took us almost 4 to 6 months of hard work to reach here. So I hope that you all can lend me at least 2 to 4 minutes of your precious time. We all are very well aware that the world today is flooding with various challenges. But just because a few stupid excuses in our mind, we don't even try to make a change. However, the first thing to understand is that we, the youth, or better known as the Generation Z, are equally capable of making a change in our society like anyone else. And the simulations, like these model UN conferences, empowers the young minds to think differently and to bring the requisite change in the present and also in the coming future. Now, despite of being a simulation of this real world, the Ahlcon Youth MUN 2020 expands its perspectives on diversified issues like freedom of speech, Islamophobia, gender equality, etc., that are beyond imagination as well as beyond the borders. Well said by Priyanshi in the very beginning that these simulations help us being a global citizen rather than a national one. Dear delegates, during these 2 days of the conference, your goal is not to be right. Rather, it is to acknowledge the flaws in various plans and laws and to build a common consensus. You have to become the voice of those umpteen men and women, children, refugees who are incessantly fighting for their rights. Well, yes, we at Ahlcon Youth MUN 2020 will bestow different awards. But I request you all to not see this conference as a competition because along with shouting on your fellows, you will assuredly learn a lot from them. It is really a matter of pride for our Ahlcon family to host the delegates coming from various institutions of Delhi and Delhi NCR. So before concluding, I would just like to thank the entire organizing committee and our advisors, Mr. Anirudh Bali and Shloka Roy, for whom it ain't a 2-day conference but have been months of hard work. All my special thanks to my colleagues Krish Vela, the president, and Ananya Goel, the deputy secretary general, who make up the backbone of this event and without whom this event won't have been possible. Last but not the least, I would like to thank the delegates participating in this maiden edition of Ahlcon Youth MUN. Wish you all a very good luck. With this, I, Pragya Joshi, the Secretary General of Ahlcon Youth MUN 2020, declare the conference as open. So before joining the respective links, I again request the delegates that before joining, just don't forget to rename yourselves. And the first session will officially begin from 11 a.m. So all the delegates can start joining by 10:45. And the guests who are present here, if they want, they can also join the respective committees when they begin. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pragya.
Thank you. Thank you, Pragya. Thank you, Ambassador Puri, once again for gracing the occasion, sir. It's been an honor for the entire Ahlcon family. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Ambassador Puri. And thank you, Ashok, sir, for enlightening always all of us. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. God
Thank
bless
you very
all.
much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Pandey, our principal, Dr. Bisht, and Mr. Puri. It has been an astounding experience, an astonishing experience to be with you and with your thoughts. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Rajesh. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for your gracious presence. And looking forward to delegates joining the various sessions for which the team may share the links. Thank you, Pandit sir. Thank you, Puri sir. Thank you, Bish sir, and other teachers.
Thank you so much, everyone, for your precious time.
Congratulations, team. It was a great opening ceremony.